Okay, good evening to one and all. If you can hear me, give me a confirmation on the chat section, please. If you guys can hear me, give me a confirmation on the chat section, please. Perfect. Good evening to one and all. Good evening. It's a weekend. It's the Sunday. So, how is your day? How was the day? And how are you guys feeling? Tell me. How was the day? And how you're feeling now? Okay. Good evening. Very busy. Okay. Best environment for coding. That's nice. Okay. Perfect. Waiting for the session. Cool. Awesome, guys. Okay. So today we are going to start with the most awaiting moment, that is the web scraping. Okay. Today we are going to start with the web scraping. Okay. What is web scraping? How to perform web scraping and so on and so forth. We're going to discuss today itself. Okay. And tomorrow we're going to start with the automation. Okay. And day after tomorrow, that's the last day for this bootcamp. I will be providing you a project and you guys have to do that project and have to submit that project within the timeline. Okay. And those who will going to perform that project and will going to submit a valid submission will be eligible for the certificate at the last. Okay. Is that clear? Is that clear? Yes or no? And this that certification is from Google and Microsoft. Okay. Is this clear? Any doubts still here? Any doubts still here? Okay. So before going on, just give me a confirmation that you guys can hear me. Okay, you can hear me, right? Okay, so before going on, let me make you go through the courses that we provide. Okay, so this is just a boot camp for the 7 days, and in this 7 days, we have to wrap a lot, right? We have started with the Python. In 3 days, we have done the Python itself, right? But that's not the case. We cannot learn Python in the 3 days, right? So let me make you go through our program, what we offer, and then we are going to get back to our dedicated session. Okay, so this is our website, shapeai.tech. Okay, what you have to do, we provide you two courses, one being the full stack web development industrial program training courses, and other being the data science industrial training program. Okay, so if you want to check this out, you can visit this website, shapeai.tech, and you can see the appropriate courses that you are interested in. Okay, let's start with the data science courses. Okay, so this course is only going to be for 11 weeks. That means 2.5 months. Okay, so within this 2.5 months you will be trained on all the technologies that has been required to be a data scientist. Okay, so if you see, the upcoming batch is for October 20th. Okay, that's like 10 days afterwards. If you are interested in that, you can enroll in this, or we have one more batch starting from the 1st of November. Okay, we have one more batch that has been starting for the 1st of November, right? There is no prerequisite. It is not like that if you feel like that I don't know Python, I don't know anything and all that, so is it better for me to go with this? Absolutely it is. That's why we have specifically mentioned over here that there is no prerequisite. Okay, it is not required for you to be a master in anything to take this course. Okay, we're going to train you, and within this entire 2.5 month journey, we're going to look on and we're going to understand and learn a lot of things. Okay, then these are some of your instructors, and these are not an ordinary instructors. They have worked, they have cracked a various high level MNC. They worked at high level MNCs. If you see, we have instructor from Goldman Sachs, Geo, Amazon. This is me. Okay, I am also an instructor over here in the shapeai.tech. We have a lot of instructor, we have a lot of talented instructor over here who have done and contributed in the very high MNCs and all stuff, right? Now come back to the course. Specifically over here, we are mentioning that there is no prerequisite because we are going to start everything from scratch till the advanced level. Okay, so if you have time, you can go through that, what you will going to learn. Okay, what's the benefit of this course? The benefit of the course is that first of all, this is a live session. This will be the live class. It is not that we are going to provide you the recorded part that you have to watch. No, it will not going to go like that way. Okay, it will be a live class, and when we say live class, we have the live demos or doubt session as well. That means every day you will be having 4 hours class. That means in this 4 hours, the starting 2 hours will be for the live classes, and the remaining 2 hours will be the doubt classes with the respective class. Suppose today is the class will going to start, like for the first 2 hours we're going to do the live classes. Okay, in that, instructor will going to instruct you, will going to explain you, teach you, and make you learn about what the things are that. And after, in that particular 2 hours, you will get an opportunity to clear all your doubts. So every day 4 hours you will be dedicating over here. Okay, and along with that, you will be getting some complimentary courses recording. You will be getting some complimentary recording courses. That means, suppose if you enroll for the data science course, right? If you enroll for the data science course, you will be getting the cyber security, DSA, and full stack web development course as complimentary. That means if you wish that I also want to take a data science course as well, and I also wants to take the full stack course as well, right? So in this case, it is not the case like you have to take the both course. Among these two courses, you take one course, and the next course will going to come up handy and complementary for you. Okay, so what happens, suppose you have taken this data science course, right? So after your completion of this course, you will be getting all the 3 course recording. That means DSA includes the data structures and algorithms, then the cyber security course as well. If you are from a data science, you will be getting the data science recording, but you will also be getting the full stack web development recording as well. And one more thing that I forgot to mention, that in this live classes you will be getting the recording as well. That means if suppose today we have the live classes, before the next day you will, all the videos will be uploaded and you will be granted as the access. You can anytime, anyway, if you miss the classes, you can see the previous recording itself. Okay, and the best part of this course is that you will be getting the guidance from the people who have worked, who are working at the top MNCs. Okay, if you talk about top MNC, if you see over here, Goldman Sachs, Geo, and Amazon. Then we have Porsche. Then we have TensorFlow, Morgan Stanley, McKinsey, and all that, right? So all the instructors are very talented. They have a lot of experience, and you guys will going to get a lot of things to learn. Okay. Now coming back to the course syllabus. Coming back to the course syllabus. These are some of the syllabus that we are going to cover. Okay. So we are going to start with the DSA. These DSA will be instructed by different faculty, different instructor. Okay, you will be getting all the recordings as mentioned over here itself, that you will be getting the recording of the DSA. What you will going to learn in this entire program, it is all mentioned over here. We are going to start from the scratch. Okay, and then why this DSA is important, because many of you might be focusing towards to get all the interview preparation and all that as the companies are arriving at the college. We are going to provide that as handy, and including that we have a entire career counseling session as well as a complimentary. Okay, it is not mentioned over here, but we do have a career counseling session. When you are completed with all the courses, at the end we are going to provide you the career counseling, over where we will be training you what are the etiquettes, how you have to answer in the interview, how you have to make the resume, how do you have to make your LinkedIn profile, what is Git and GitHub, how you have to access that, and in the interview question, what are some of the questions that you have to tackle, what are some of the frequent questions that has been asked in the interview, and how you have to tackle that up. Okay, we will be going to teach you and train you in that as well. Okay, this is all about the DSA. We are going to start about with Python. We are going to dedicatedly no, focusing like 2 to 2.5 week, 2 to 2.5 week only understanding the Python in a very scratch terms. Like today itself we have, covered Python in 3 days, right? But we will be covering Python in 2 to 2.5 weeks. That means we are going till the depth of Python and understanding it fully, entirely, what is Python and how we can code in Python. Okay, then move on, we have the intro to the data analytics part. We're going to learn about a lot of stuffs. We are going to make a lot of industrial projects that you can add on your resume itself. Okay, then how can you forget about the statistics? Because if you are in a data science field, if you are dealing with machine learning and deep learning, statistics plays a very vital role. Maths plays a very vital role. So we also cover the statistics, and everything over here is from the scratch. Okay. Then database, you have to understand about the database. We're going to cover the SQL for the database. Okay. Then the data wrangling, how you are going to gather the data, access the data, clean the data, and so on and so forth. We are going to look forward to the machine learning, and these are some of the algorithms. These are some of the algorithms that we will be covering. Okay, and even in the deep learning itself, these are some of the models and algorithms that we are going to cover. Okay, now these are some of the projects. Okay, if you want to learn about the projects, what all projects you will be creating and building, these are some of the projects that you will be creating during the 2.5 months duration. Okay, and these are some of the technology that you will be getting mastered. Okay, you will be getting master in during this 2.5 month duration. Okay, now comes out that what exactly is the requirement. The thing is that number of projects will be 30. The course duration will be 2.5 months. Okay, the days and timing will be for every weekday, starting from 7 o'clock till 11. Starting from 7 o'clock till 11. Okay, it will going to start from 7 till 7 to 9, it will be the session, and from 9 till 11 it will be the doubt session. Okay, the upcoming batch will be going to start from October 20. The entire course price is 7,000. The entire course price is 7,000, but due to all of you who are attending this session, okay, we have a special discount offer for all of you guys. Okay, those who are attending this session, who are coming through this boot camp, I have already uploaded. If you scroll down, you will going to find out the link, a special link. Okay, those, if you are applying via those links, you will be getting a special discount. You will be getting a special discount. So if you want to avail that, you can avail that offer as well. Okay, and then one more important part over here is that these all courses will be a live session. The best part is that you get a chance to interact with the instructor. If you don't have any doubt, if you have a doubt, suppose, and you don't know how to tackle that up, you don't simply have to Google or write a comment and have to wait for other people, right? You have to directly have the opportunity to ask the instructor, and instructor will going to tell you about the entire stuff. Okay, and one more thing that I want to add over here, that we only take 120 students in a batch. Okay, not more than that. And you have to focus that if you want to avail it, kindly avail it beforehand. Otherwise we are not going to, not able to give you, provide you a seat, because the seat are very limited over here. The seats are very limited, only 120 students. Okay, and if you want to check out, you can download the syllabus and you can check out itself. You want to check out the course of full stack, you can check that as well. Okay, let me provide the link in the description below, and if someone is interested, you can go on to the form that has been already been attached in the description and apply from there, and you will be getting a special discount offer. You will be getting a special discount offer. Let me write it over here. If anyone is interested, you guys can go and avail that. Perfect. Okay, so do you guys have any more question regarding the course? If you have, please go ahead. Yeah, it will be for 2.5 months. every day 4 hours and 5 days a week. Okay, Saturday Sunday will be an off for all of you, and every day is a week 4 hours and in a convenient time from 7 p.m. Okay, if you guys have any more doubts, you can ask regarding the course. Okay, perfect. So let's move back to our point. Let's go back to our today's session. Let's focus on today's session that we are going to talk about the web scraping. Okay, now this web scraping, I have already told you, it falls under the requirement of data gathering. That means data can come from anywhere. Data can come from anywhere, right? Let's move on to this. Now we are talking about web scraping. Okay, scraping means, scraping comes from the word to scrap. That means to take something, to find out some insight and all that. And when we say web scraping, that means you are scrapping some information from the web. You are scrapping some information from the web itself. Okay, now this web scraping is very important when we are dealing in the data science part. That there's a domain called as data gathering. Okay, it comes as data gathering, where we are going to gather the data. Why? Because when we say data science, okay, data science is nothing if there is no data. Data science is an empty, or it is void, or if you are not using any data. Okay, so data science is just like a vision without a milestone. Okay, data science without a data is just like a vision without a milestone. Okay, so in this data we have to focus on how we can gather this data. If we don't have a data, we cannot fall under, and we cannot use it, and we cannot use any other techniques of data science to acquire some insight from that, right? So this web scraping is one of the technique from the data gathering, how we are going to gather the data from the web. When we talk about the web, there is two things that you have to understand about that. This is a server. This is a server, right? Whenever you search for like google.com, okay, whenever you search in the web, like I want to access the page as www.google.com. Okay, this is a page. Now suppose I am opening a tab and I am writing over here google.com. Okay, now let me hit enter, and now see Google web page is been presented over here. But what happens in the backend? What happens in the backend? So what happens in the backend when the user is requesting? Okay, remember, listen it very carefully. When I am requesting a server, this is always a server. Okay, whenever you say, hey, please find me this google.com, you are requesting the server to find this. Okay, you are requesting the server to find www.google.com. Okay, now what happened when you do this? This process is known as request. This process is known as request. Okay, let me write it over here. This process is known as request. When the user requests the server to please, I want to go on to this website google.com. Okay, now what happened? This server will going to take the request. It will going to find out the IP address, and it will going to find out the web page, and this server will going to provide the appropriate web page. Okay, this process is known as the response. This process is known as the response. Okay, user request to the server and server responds to the user. Okay, this is a process. Okay, now when we say request, there are a lot of types of request. So some of being are the get request, some being as a post request, some being as the delete request. Okay, and we have a patch, and we have put request, and there are a lot of more requests. Okay, so we are not going to talk about each of the request over here. We are only going to talk about the get request over here. Okay, this means get. That means I want something. I want something. When I send this request, okay, when I send this URL to the server, I also send a request with this URL. I also send a request with this URL. And which request we send? We send a get request. Get means the user is telling the server to kindly get me this page. Let me write it over here. This is a server. Okay. Now the user is telling the server, hey, can you please look onto this? Now server will going to say, okay, you want this URL, but what do you want? Over here it says I want to perform a get request over here. So kindly get me and allow me to see the web page that belongs to www.google.com. Okay, now the server will going to respond back with the entire web page. This is how the entire backend of the server works. Whenever you search for any website, it happens like this, right? And what is a post request? When you give some information. Suppose if you're trying to log in your Gmail account, right? So you have to give your credentials, you have to give your email ID along with your password. Now what happened? These email ID and password travels along with this request, and this request will now be the post request, right? Now what happened? This request will go to the server. Server will going to verify your username and password and say that okay, among all the pages, which pages belongs to this email and password, and then when it finds out, it will going to respond it back to the user. Is this part clear? Is this part clear? Is this part clear? Give me a confirmation. Is this part clear? Yes. Okay. So this is a basic about how the web actually work, right? A user requests something. Okay, user requests something, server will going to find out whether it's a valid request or not, and is there any web pages associated with that URL or a link, and then the server will going to provide it back, and that process is known as a response. Okay, and such this kind we have a lot more requests. We have get request, post request, delete, patch, and put. Okay, we are going to focus toward the get request. Okay, now the structure will be how the structure of the web scraping will be going to like. You have to first decide a web page. First you have to decide a web page that you want to scrap some information. Okay, this is the first step. Then you have to request to the server, to access the web page. Okay, now the server, if the server is going to allow you with that, then you can go ahead with the next one. Otherwise, if the server don't allow you, you have to look for some another web page that can be easily scrapped. Okay, what happened that the companies, majority of the companies secure their data. Okay, they don't easily provide their data to everyone. That's why there's a huge controversy topic whether this web scrapping is a legal or is illegal. So if you ask me, web scrapping is absolutely illegal. Okay, it is absolutely illegal if it will be practiced on a very large scale. Okay, if you are generating some revenue from some other company's data, then web scrapping is illegal. Okay, so web scrapping is legal if you are using it as very, a small form. If you are using for it practicing something or demo projects and all that, then definitely it's fine. But if you are using it a very large scale for some generating revenue and your profit, you are scrapping, you are stealing someone else's data, or you are stealing some company's data, and you are generating the profit, then in that manner all the web scrapping is an absolutely been considered as illegal. Okay, so you have to make sure what is your purpose of doing the web scrapping. Okay, and that will going to define whether the web scrapping is illegal or legal. Okay, is this clear? Yes or no? Give me a confirmation. Okay, give me a confirmation. Perfect. Okay, let me show you an example. Okay, let's move on to Amazon.in. Okay, I believe that many of you are already familiar with this website. Okay, so let's move on to this Amazon.in. Let me search for laptop. Now see, over here, these are all the laptops mentioned over here. Okay, now what happens? Suppose I want to scrap the data, so I can make a table like this. I can make a table in my SQL itself that one column will be the name of the laptop, second column may be the specs and all that, and third column may be the price. Okay, so over here, if we move on to over here, so what I want to scrap, I want to scrap the description, this one. I want to scrap the pricing, I want to scrap the ratings, or I want to scrap that whether no, how much time will it going to take it to deliver. Okay, now if I double click over here and I say view page source. Okay, now over here, if I want to search, let me refresh this page. Okay, it's taking, yeah, it's done, right? So these are all the data over here. These are all the data over here. Let me search for this part. Uh, Copy, paste. Okay, so can you see over here, right? I only want these part, I only want these part. Okay, so yesterday also we have talked about that these are indeed the HTML tags, but when we are trying about the data, when we talk about the data, these are the raw data, right? These are considered as a raw data, and this is the only meaningful data. What is the meaningful data? That does make some sense. Okay, that does make some sense. Okay, so now this is the entire data part, this is the entire data part over here. Okay, these are all the data, see, all the data. Now these are the company's data that comes from their DB, that means they comes from the data or no database. When they are defining this website, they have not simply written over here that HP15 and all that. No, all these information are coming from their database. Okay, now we are going to try to steal these data, we are going to try to steal these data. Okay, now again the same thing happens, that whenever you are stealing a data or getting the data, it's totally depend upon what actually you are trying to do with that data. Okay, if you are using it in a very wrong way, then it is absolutely illegal. Okay, if you're using it for like a demo purpose and all that, then you can go ahead with that and it is absolutely legal. Is this clear? Give me a confirmation. Is this clear? Give me a confirmation. Yes or no? re.sub, exactly. We are going to use the re.sub as well, right? Perfect. Give me a confirmation if this is clear to all of you. Perfect. Okay. Now today the website that from which we are going to scrap the data is this list of Academy Award winning films. Okay, so these are, it is looking very good, right? Or everything has been aligned on the left hand side and all that. But what exactly I am looking forward to, I want all these data. I want all these data. See all these data, right? These are the data that has been taken from the Academy Award winning movies and all that, right? These are some of the movies who has won some awards. Okay, over here it has been mentioned with the year and then the award and then the nomination. So what will be my today, what will be my expected result will be, I am going to create a table. I am going to create a table, or more specifically I am going to create a data frame. Okay, this is a term that we use in the pandas, and in this particular table or a data frame I am going to add or append all these results, okay. So now in order to get all the data, we are going to start with the importing all the libraries that we will be using today. Are you guys ready for that? Are you guys ready for that? Yes or no? Give me a confirmation. Are you guys ready for that? Now we are going to start with the very important part of doing the web scraping. Okay? Right. Perfect. Okay, let's move on. First of the major important thing you have to understand, whenever you are doing any project or anything, you have to start with importing all the libraries. Okay. Now the first library that I am going to import will be pandas. Okay. I'm going to import pandas. You don't need to know about pandas as of now. I'm going to use some of the function of pandas. Okay. So I'm going to use pandas. I'm going to use re as well. It is used for the regex. Okay. I'm going to use requests because we are going to make some requests to the web server. We are going to make some requests to the web server. Okay. Now I'm going to import the beautiful soup. We have to import this beautiful soup. So from BS4, I'm going to import beautiful soup. Uh, yeah. So I'm going to import beautiful soup, and this beautiful soup is a package that comes handy in this BS4 part. Okay. Now these are some of the libraries and packages and modules that I'm going to use for this entire demonstration. Okay. Let me run this. Perfect. Now we have to first mention about the URL that you are going to scrap. So I am going to declare a variable name as URL, and in this variable I'm going to store the URL that we are going to scrap today. Okay, this is the URL. Okay, let me run this. Now we have the URL. Okay, now the second thing that we have to do is to request. I have to request the web server to kindly give me entire data from this website. Okay, so let me make another variable as request. Okay, sorry, response, because this variable will be response, because we are going to request something and we are getting in term in the response form. I am going to request now, so I am going to use this request part, request. And which kind of request are we going to use? We are going to use the get request. So I am going to say we are going to use the get request. Whenever you are saying get request, so what do you want it to get? I want it to get the URL. I want it to get the URL. What is the URL? This is a desired URL for which data I am requesting. Okay. Now what happened when I run this cell? This request module will now going to request the server to get this URL. Now the server will be server will verify it whether they are allowed to show the data, they're allowed to share the data with us or not. If they are allowed to do that, definitely we are going to get all the thing. Okay, let me run this. Perfect. Now if I write resp, now see, I am getting response and this is 200. In the web development, this 200 known as the status code. In the web development field, this 200 known as the status code. Okay, and any status code apart from 200 is an error. Any status code apart from 200 is an error. 200 means that it is working perfectly fine. Okay, any status code apart from 200 means error. Some of the status code that you might have encounter is 404. What is 404? Which kind of error is this 404? Which kind of error is this 404? Any idea? Which kind of error is this 404? Tell me. Page not found. Exactly. 404 says page not found, right? Similarly, we have 403, 401, we have 193 and all that, right? So any status code apart from 200, any status code apart from 200 means error. 200 means okay. 200 means okay. We have one more. If you want to check the status code, you can use this status code function as well. When you hit this up, you will be getting the status code as 200. That means this is perfect. We have got the entire data. We have got a confirmation from the server that you can use this. Okay, so you have to make sure that we have to focus on 200 only. So in case you are getting, suppose if you are taking this website, amazon.in again. Let's move on to this. Let's say I want to search for some laptops. I want to scrap this data. For an example, let me take this and paste it over here. Oh, sorry. Perfect. So let me paste it over here. Suppose this is my URL. Okay, suppose this is my URL. You have taken a URL from any website. You are requesting a get request from this URL and you are checking the status code. Okay. Now if you see, the status code has been changed. Now if you see, the status code has been changed. The status code is 503. That means it's an error. Okay, now the server says, hey, you have no authority, that you cannot steal the data. Okay, you don't have any right to scrap the data. This 503 is telling me. Is this clear? Is this clear? Yes or no? Getting this or not? Okay, so you have to make sure which all website gives you the authority to scrap their data. Nowadays, since web scrapping, a lot of companies do the web scrapping to get the others companies data. So companies make sure that, while creating their website and building their website, no one will going to hinder their data, because data is very important. Data is very important, right? When we say our privacy is hindering and all that, what we mean that data has been shared, right? And today's world, data is very important. Today's world, where data is very important. If you have ever imagined that if you have bought a new sim, okay, now after some time you will be getting a random call from random people, kindly buy some loan and all that, right? And you will be imagining that I have never given my phone number to these people, but how they are getting that, right? Ever happened this to you? Ever happen? Ever did you have ever got a random calls, kindly take some loans, kindly have some, random stuffs and all that, and you wonder that I didn't have given these people my confidentials and my phone number, but how they've got that, right? That means your company are selling your data. Okay, they are earning by selling your data itself. Suppose you have purchased a sim card from the company called Airtel. Now what happened, that Airtel will going to take your data and they will going to sell it to some banks. They might sell it to some agencies, life insurance agencies and all that, right? So that means your data has been selling, right? So your privacy are being hindering up. Your data is being traveling from one place to another place. So nowadays data is very, very important. Whatsoever you see, whatsoever updates, you preserve. How the developer makes the update on your games, how the developers make update on the web pages, taking the datas only, right? They see the people say that, okay, the data is not, the game is not working, the game is lagging and all that. They take that data, they study that data, and then they make some put some action into it, right? So you have to make sure that data is very important. Now if I'm trying to scrap the data from Amazon server is restricting me. Amazon server is restricting me that, hey, you are not allowed to touch my data, right? It doesn't mean that I cannot touch their data. I can easily touch their data. Okay, this is just a warning to me. This is just a warning to me. I can make a web crawler, or I can make a spider, and I can let that spider to crawl their website easily. But this is a warning that states that if you do this, you will be in trouble. If you do this, you will be in trouble. Okay, so you have to make sure, while scrapping a data from some companies, you have to make sure if they show us the status code, that means there are some warnings they are already giving to you, right? This doesn't mean that you cannot scrap their data, but this is just a form of a warning that the server has denied. You can easily bypass the server itself. Okay, it is a more deeper concept. Okay, so right now you just have to understand that you only have to scrap those data whose status code is 200. Is this clear? Is this clear? Yes or no? Yes or no? Okay, give me a confirmation, guys, if it's clear to all of you, right? Perfect. Okay, let's move back to our, let me grab this link, because this link is giving us 200. That means Wikipedia is allowing us that, hey, the server is saying that, hey, you have the access, you can go ahead with that. So let me check it once more. Perfect, we are getting 200. Okay, now I have to store all the data into some variable. We have a bucket. In that bucket I am going to store all the data. Right now, if I print RESP, I am not getting the data. If I'm printing this RESP, I'm not getting the data, because this request will only going to give me the response that it is working or not. Scrapping will be done by the beautiful soup. Scrapping will be done by the beautiful soup, right? So I'm going to make another variable in which I'm going to store my data as soup. Now I'm going to scrap the data. I am going to scrap the data, so I'm going to use beautiful soup. Okay, now what I want to scrap, I want to scrap the content of this RESP. I want to scrap the content of this RESP. So what I'm going to write? I'm going to write RESP dot content. So this will going to scrap the entire content of this response. Okay, and again you have to mention one parser. You have to mention one parser. What is a parser? Parser means that it will going to parse your data page. It will going to parse a web page. You can have, you can use HTML, you can use LXML, you can use Lex and all that. So there's a lot of parser that is available in the internet. These are some of the deeper concept of web development. Okay, just have to understand over here you have to mention one parser. Okay, in my case I am using this LXML as a parser. In your case, if you want, you can use HTML as well. Okay, and there are a lot of new parsers or modified parser that you can take. Okay, let me grab this up. And yep, we have successfully scrapped the data. We have successfully scrapped the data from this website. Okay, let's check the data, whether we have got the data or not. Let me bring this up. So okay, so now it's working because there's a lot of data. If you see, we have successfully scrapped the entire data of the website. Yes or no? See, these are all the data. These are all the data. Getting this or not? Give me a confirmation. Give me a confirmation if you are guys getting this or not. Tell me. Okay. Perfect. So we have successfully scrapped the data. Okay. Now let me see the data. So these are all the data. Let me make it in a prettifier form. So it will only going to show me that okay, we have scrapped the data in a very less quantity, because over here they are showing me the entire quantity, right? So I'm going to use the function prettify, this one, prettify. Okay, I'm going to use this function prettify and I'm going to run this. Okay, now if you can see, we have a lot of data. If you click on this triple dots, this data will going to expand, right? So it is in a prettified form. Let me run this again. Now what I actually want, do I want this image? Do I want this image? Do I want this image? Yes or no? Give me a confirmation. Give me a confirmation. Do I want that image? Table, exactly. I don't want this image. I don't want all this part on my left hand section. I don't want all my headers. I don't want list of this and all this and all written over here. I only want these. I want this Nomad Land, the year, the awards and the nomination for all the entire movies, right? So now I have to figure it out. I have to figure it out for this Nomad Land. Let's check this for the Nomad Land, right? Let me go on to right and click, view, paste source. We copy this Nomad Land. Okay, let me search for Nomad Land. So right over here, if you see, this is a Nomad Land over here, and I want only this. I want Nomad Land. I want this 21. I want this 3 and 4. If you see, everything has been set to a table. Okay, everything has been set to a table. This is the entire table row. Okay, this tr tag means the table row, and this td means the table descriptions. Okay, I want all this. If you see, for all the data, they are following the same pattern. If you see, for all the data, they are following the same pattern. See, tr, then in this tr tag we have all the td. If you see for the next data, the father for the 2020 film, it is also following up the same pattern, right or wrong? And when I say this, they are following some pattern, which module do you think will going to help us in this sector? Any idea? When I say the term pattern, which module do you think will going to help us in this sector? Any idea? RE, exactly. RE will going to help us in that, right? And one more thing, I have assumed that if I can solve a problem for only one data or only one row, if I can solve and try to gather the data from one row, all the row will be going to automatically, I am able to get gather the data. Yes or no? If I can gather the data from one row, automatically I can gather the entire data from all the other rows itself. Yes or no? Yes or no? Give me a confirmation. Right? Exactly, I can do that. Right? So let's move on. Let's move on to see over here. Now over here, if you see the tags, these information are in the TD tag. These all information are in the TD tag. TD, 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 and again this TD, TD, TD. So what I can do, I can run a for loop. I can run a for loop, and I can tell the the interpreter that only going. Please give me only those data. Please give me only those data wherever the data has been included in the TD tag, wherever the data has been included in the TD tag. In this format, I am going to get this TD, 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 and all the TD tags. Getting this point? Getting this point? Yes or no? Getting this or not? Come on, tell me. Getting this or not? I only want to gather the TD tag, that is table description tag. In that manner, what will going to happen? Interpreter will going to list out and give me only those data which are engraved in the TD tag only, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create an empty array, okay? Empty list or empty array. This is the empty list over here. I'm going to use a for loop. I'm going to say for I in this soup. Okay, now in this soup there's a function known as find all function. I am going to say in this particular soup means this data, soup means this data. Okay, now I'm going to say what I have to find. What I have to find, I have to find only those data which are inclusive in the TD tag. So I'm going to say find all function. Over here I'm going to mention the TD tag, TD. Okay, now I am going to add that data in this string format. Okay, now I am going to say arr dot append. This is a function to add something into a list. Okay, now I am going to say I. But remember one thing, this entire data that I have grabbed, it is not a string data. It is a HTML data. It is not a string data. Yes or no? Getting this or not? These data are the HTML data. They are not the string data. Yes or no? Getting this? Getting this or not? Right. So we have to perform, if you want to perform some operation, we can only perform using the RE if the corresponding variable contains a string data, right? So I am going to do the typecasting. I am going to do the typecasting over here. I am going to say whatsoever data will be in this I, kindly change it to string. Kindly change it to string, because it will be very easy for us to perform operation on the string. Okay, so let me run this. Let me run this cell. Let's see. Okay, now if I print this ARR, let me print this ARR. Now you will see the magic. Okay, now if you see all the data that are that are very crucial to us is been included over here. If you see, all the crucial data has been marked over here. See, I want nomad land. I want this 21. Where is that? I want this 21. I want this 3 and D. Again, the film name, the year, the nomination and the award. Now see how easy it was. How easy it was, right? Now over here, if you see, this was a raw data, doc type, HTML, and all this, August, September, and all that. We have just excluded that simply because we have already told the function. We have already told that please find out only those data which are engraved in this TD tag. If you see, all the data over here has been engraved in this TD tag itself. Okay, so now first step, at somewhat we have already cleaned the data. Okay, is this clear? Yes or no? Please don't ask for the attendance link. Attendance link will be shared when the session will be ending up. Okay, I don't think that today's session is very boring and all that you wanted to end it up, right? Please wait till the end. You will be getting the attendance link. Okay. Okay, sure. So let's move on to this part. Okay. Now I want this nomad land. I want this nomad land. So I have already told you that if I can figure it out to get the nomad land from this part, I can also automatically it will happen that I can figure out to get this part, the father, the movie name father automatically from the again part, right? So I'm going to use this indexing part. I say 0. Okay, ARR 0. Now I'm going to use RE. Now I'm going to use the RE so I can only get this nomad land. Okay, now I'm going to use RE. Now tell me which function do I use? RE dot sub or find all? Let's see. RE dot sub or find all? Tell me. Re.sub or re.find all. Sub, exactly, perfect. You guys are getting this. Awesome. Awesome, guys. Hats off to you. We are going to use re.sub, right? And re.sub takes 3 parameter. Last parameter, what will be last parameter? So for testing purpose, I am going to take this part. Okay, for testing purpose, I am going to take this part because I know if my testing is been successful in this ARR 0, then automatically it will also going to get successful for the upcoming names of the movie itself, right? I want to replace this part with the empty string. Now I am going to make some pattern. I am going to make some pattern. Okay, now from looking forward to this part, I can say a pattern over here is what I can do. I can cut all this data. The one thing I can do, I can copy this part and paste it over here. But the reason being I cannot do that over here, if you see, this is the nomad land over here as well, right? So this part will also going to change according to the name. This part will also going to change according to the name. So I have to find a better approach. This was the approach that we have seen yesterday, right? But now I cannot work over here with this approach. The reason being, let me show the why we cannot work this. Now see, if I'm going to run 4. Okay, this is the name of the new movie. If I remove this pattern, right? If I say that I am giving this pattern over here, so what will going to happen? It will indeed gonna remove this part, this entire highlighted part, but this pattern will not going to work on this part, because the reason being, when it's checked till here it's good, but it says over here, the pattern says it should be nomad land. Over here you are using the father. That means this pattern will not going to work out for this part, right? So I have to think a better approach. Okay, now one approach I can think over here, that every data has been starting from this TD tag. Okay, so I can say pattern will be starting. I have already told you this means the starting, the upper arrow means the starting. I can say it will going to start from the TD tag. Okay, it is starting from the TD tag. Okay, and it will going to end. I can say I cannot give this part. I cannot say it is ending with this arrow. Why? If I say that it is ending with this arrow, it will also going to include the last part also. So it will going to remove everything, right? So in better manner, I am going to say I want you to remove till you reach here, till you find this pattern. You have to go and remove everything, right? Now I have to tell it you have to go on. You have to go on until and unless you find this. In this part, I am going to use a dot and an asterisk. This asterisk we have already talked about, that a repeated number of times, okay, n number of times. This dot means a character. This dot means a single character. When I say single character, it includes everything. It may include this arrow, it may include this alphabet or letter, it may include the space, it may include this dot. So what I'm telling over here, I'm saying that this pattern will going to start from TD dot this. Okay, it will going to start from TD roses. I have found that, right? This will say single character, the next character. This is the next single character. But this asterisk means repeated number of characters, n number of characters. That means n number of characters. These all characters go on and on and on. But also I am giving over here a position to stop. I am telling that you have to consider all the characters until and unless you find this pattern. Getting this thing or not? Getting this thing or not? Yes or no? Getting this thing or not? Yes or no? Okay. Why not plus? Okay, people are asking why not plus. There is a huge difference between plus and this part, because this plus means the first occurrence, first or more occurrence. Let me write it over here. More occurrence. This asterisk means zero or more occurrence. Okay, zero or more occurrence. There is a huge theoretical part between what is first and zero and all that, right? I'm not going to discuss this right now because we don't have enough time. These all will be discussed in the session part. Okay, so there's a huge difference between this plus. Also there's a huge difference with asterisk as well. That's why we are using this asterisk over here. Now if I'm going to run this, now see, now can you see I'm getting this nomad land? Now I'm getting this nomad land. Yes or no? Now what we're going to do, I am going to see, now over here I can see that this endpoint are exactly the same. This endpoint is exactly the same. So what I'm going to do, I am going to take this up, copy this, the next pattern, for making the next pattern I'm going to use this bar. After that I'm going to paste it over here. Now see, I'm getting this nomad land. Is this clear? Is this clear? Is this clear? See, you have to make the project. How you make the project, that's totally dependent upon you. We only going to see the project, right? So you have to check whether that project will be done via mobile, or because these are all the technical stuffs, and these technical stuffs cannot be done in the mobile itself, right? You need to have a system. Okay, so it is very difficult for you if you're using this mobile. I'm really sorry for that. But when you are a tech guy, definitely you should do everything in the profile. Or if you do want to make it happen in the mobile, you can access the Google Cloud via your mobile itself. Okay, okay, let's move on to the next part. Okay, now this is nomadland. Let me try whether it's working for this data that is in index 4 itself or not. Let me try with this. Let me say 4. Let's see, let's check. Let me run this. What happened? Call is already, I think it's got jammed. Okay, there's some issue with the collab. Let me run this again. Let me check this whether it's working or not. Okay, it's connecting. Okay, in the meantime it is getting connected. Do you guys have any confusion? Do you guys have any confusion till here? Give me a confirmation if everything is clear. Okay, let me run this. Perfect. So let me start with this. Let me check whether it's working for not. Okay, so is it working? Is it working? We are getting the father. But over here it says that A, I and TD tag over here. We are also including this B as well. We are also including this B as well. So what I can do, I can take these tags. I can take these tags. Okay. These are some tags that I can take, and I can make a copy over here. I can make a copy over here, and I can say first remove all this tag, and after that if any tag happens, which is a tag that is unique over here, it's the B tag. So let me remove this B tag. If this B tag occurs, we are going to remove that afterwards. So is this the expected output? Yes or no? See, this is the entire raw data. Among this raw data, we are taking the useful data, the father. Okay, is this clear? Is this clear? Is this clear? No, it doesn't mean that if you don't have system, you are not getting a certificate. It is a very straightforward process, right? It is a very logical stuff that every coding thing you have to do in your system itself. You cannot do coding in your phone, right? You cannot expect to do a coding in your phone. You cannot make a project in your phone itself. Okay, so this is not the case that you cannot get the certificate because you don't have a system. It is not that case. Okay, perfect. Okay, this is clear, right? Okay, let's see, check whether it's working for the next part. 8. Yes, it's working perfectly fine. Let's check for the next part. Is it working? Yeah, is it working, right? Let's move on to the first part. So now if you see, it is removing. For the first part there is something different. For the first part there is something different. There is a tag, then I tag, and then there is a td tag. There is a tag, then there is a I tag, and then there is a td tag. So this tag has already been involved over here. This tag has already been involved over here. Yes or no? Yes or no? Getting this point or not? Give me a confirmation. Give me a confirmation. Okay, now like this wise you have to make a pattern. You have to make a pattern. You have to update over here. Let's talk about the first part. Suppose this is my first. Let me enter my first. Now this is my first. I only want this 21 over here. Let me write it over here 1, and let me see what actually I am getting. I am getting this part. So what I can do, I can remove this thing as well. I can remove this thing as well. Okay, let me copy this. Let me paste over here, and let me run this again. Okay, it has been removed, right? Second, let's check to the second part. Second, we are getting this td tag. So let me copy this and let me paste it over here, that remove the td tag as well. Let me run this. Now see, let me have this td tag as well. Let me have this td tag as well. Now see, it is removed. Okay, now let's check for the 3. This is the new line. /n means the new line. So I have to remove the new line as well. Now if we see our data, let's check our data. We have 4. Let's check with the 4. See, 4 is good. 5. Okay, it's good. 6. It's good. 7. It's good, right? So this how you're going to clean the data. And it is not that we have to follow this pattern itself. There will be a lot of pattern, right? Let me check all the patterns. Let me check wherever there is something fishy going on, we can correct that up. For I in this ARR, okay, we have to get this, right? So let me say print this part, and instead of this 0, 7, print this I. Now see all the data that we are getting. Okay, this is not the, okay, this is the data that we are getting should be a string. Perfect. What happened? The list indices is not a string. Let me cover this. Okay, let me make it in this format, that ARR of this I and str of this I. Can assign to the function call. Okay, let me say str. I think there's some issue. So what I can use, I can say data is equals to str of ARR of I. Okay, I is already a data, so I don't need to take it. Okay, I thought we are going to deal with the indexing. So let me remove this. Now it's perfectly fine. Now see, I am getting all the data. So let me hover over at the top. Let's go, let's go. Let me see. Okay, this is a cursor. Now let's go to the top. And perfect. So now if you see, okay, there's a lot of lines, so they have trimmed it. So we are getting the movie name, we are getting the year, we are getting the nomination, we are getting the awards. Okay, this is the data that we require. But if you see, there's some of the data that we can find out, they are having some doubts over here, right? So we have this and this point, so just kindly copy that up and add that in the next panel right over here. Right now try to find some any different thing that you can find up and just add that up. Now this is already been added. This is something unique, this is something new that they are following. Let me copy this and let me paste this over here. Okay, now this is the entire pattern that this entire data is following. Okay, now see over here, there's some of the data over here, li and li. You can just make a pattern, and this is the data that you have acquired. This is the data that you have acquired. Earlier it was a raw data. This was a raw data. Now you have scrapped the meaningful data. You have scrapped the meaningful data. Is this clear? Yes or no? Is this clear? Yes or no? Is this clear? Yes or no? Okay. Perfect. Perfect. I think you guys are more interested in getting attendance rather than understanding the concept. Okay. I want to tell you that getting a certificate will not going to help you out unless and until you have the knowledge. Okay. So it's just a piece of paper unless and until you have the knowledge to explain. Okay. Perfect. So okay, we are done over here. I thought to extend it more, but since the people want this attendance and all that, we can we are done over here. We can stop over here. This is all about the web scrapping, a very simple step, how you can scrap the data from the web, how you can make the pattern. And this is a motive of making you understand this is a raw data, and from this raw data how you can get the entire meaningful data. Okay, is this clear? Yes or no? Is this clear? Okay, sure. So, okay, that's all from my end. We have to stop till here itself because people wants attendance and all that. So let me put the link of the attendance. Let me ping the attendance itself. Replaced pinged. Let me do it again. Ping the message. Okay, I have pinged the attendance link, so you guys can go and submit your today's response. Okay, make sure don't forget to mark your attendance, because on that basis only you will be getting your certificate. Okay, so you have to do your attendance link as well. You have to mark your attendance itself, and then you have to do the project and submit that within the time frame in order to be eligible to get this certificate. Okay, is this clear? Is this clear, guys? Perfect. Attendance link has been already been pinged on the chat section at the top, so kindly please go and refer to that. Okay, if you guys have any more question, you can drop it on the chat section. Okay, any more question, any more doubts and all that? Yeah, indeed, you can use the txt text file as well. You can, instead of content, you can use text as well. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I think that's all from my end. That's a wrap today itself. Okay, so tomorrow we are going to perform the automation. Okay, tomorrow we are going to perform the automation, guys. Okay, tomorrow we are going to perform the automation, and day after tomorrow you will be getting the certificate. Oh, sorry, you will be getting the project, which I will be briefing you about what you have to do, what needs to be done, and then a deadline will be given to you, and a link to submit that project will be given to you, and you can easily upload and you can do your project there. Okay, this project will be related to whatsoever we have we have taught you during this entire 7 days that you will be learning in the upcoming for 2 days itself, and all the 5 days including today that you have learned. Is this clear? Collab file will be shared with all of you on the last day, right? That's why we are that's why I'm doing trying to do everything in the same collab file. So we are not making multiple collab file. At the end of the day, I will be sharing you the collab file. Is this clear? Is this clear, guys? Yes or no? Yeah, you have to do the project in order to get the certificate, because these certificates are not an ordinary certificates. They are from the Google certifications and Microsoft certification. Okay, so these are not an easy part. We can okay, when you say please share on WhatsApp and Telegram, what exactly are you referring to? Are you referring about the attendance link? So attendance link we cannot share on the WhatsApp and the no Telegram, because we only appreciate the active participants only. Okay, no, you have to make sure about the attendance itself, right? Attendance should be important. This thing we have already discussed day before yesterday with a simple example that attendance should also be compulsory along with the project. Okay, then you will be eligible to get the certificate. Okay, collab file will be shared over here itself. Okay, it won't be shared on the Telegram or WhatsApp group. The reason being is that we have to share this to those people who have the willingness to learn something, right? And to the active person who are taking some time off and then they are coming up to this session. Okay, so these are stuff, all the educational stuff will be shared on the session itself. Perfect. So I think we don't have much questions, right? So we are good to wrap up. So that's all from my end, guys. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great Sunday evening, and let's meet tomorrow. See you all. Bye. Good night. Have a great time. Bye.